This conference will now be recorded.
Um, Good evening, everyone. Welcome to RMC group for this month. Um, it's good to see everybody. Thanks for joining tonight. Um, just gonna start with a quick introduction for Diana here. My name is Andre Sneed. I was diagnosed with RMC in 2000 April 2019. Um, at the time of diagnosis, of course, I was had flank plain and blood in my urine and stuff like that. So at that point in time, um, they already told me it was stage 4. Um, so I guess a lot of people processes is different, but just my process, I got my right kidney removed first. Then I proceeded with several different chemotherapy treatments or whatever. So I went through several different chemo regimens and radiation. I also did some immunotherapy. And then in October 2020 is when I got my first clear scan. Um, and everything's been clear ever since. I got a chance to ring the bell in August 2022. It's been 2 years since my first clear scan, so I'm very excited about that moving forward. The further you get away from uh, dealing with the cancer, the least likely it is for it to come back. So, um,
Is that Clarissa? Can you mute your?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay.
so yeah, It's been 2 years since my first clear scan, and yeah, just pressing forward. I feel good. I'm just looking forward to being an advocate and sharing my story to let everybody know that this is a cancer. It's a serious cancer, but it can definitely be beat. If you stay positive, upbeat about it, and just keep your faith and positivity. Um, it definitely can uh, be beat. So that's my story. Um, Carissa, do you want to give a quick intro? I know you're on the bus right now.
Yeah, sure. So I'm
Okay.
Carissa. My husband Carlos was diagnosed with RMC 6 months after we got married. He survived, like he did several chemo treatments in New York and in Texas, and uh, he was in remission for a little bit, but the cancer came back, and then like after 3.5 years. And disconnected for a second, but in 2020, my husband passed away with the cancer. But yeah, here started the support group with Andre and Richie, just sharing my experiences, and yeah, definitely especially if any financial aspects of going to Texas, because like my husband and me traveled every other week to Texas, so found different ways to like places for funding for lodging and flights and different things like that.
Thank you. Thanks, Carissa, for sharing your story. Um, Miss Richie, you want to give a quick intro?
Hi, Diana. We've corresponded past couple days, I believe. My son, Chris, passed away in 2012 from medullary carcinoma. He lived 15 months. During that time, he was given 3 to 4 months to live, but he did live 15 months. And he wanted to spread awareness, so therefore I formed the Christy J. Johnson Foundation so that we could help support the RMC community. It's because of advocacy that we now have clinical trials specifically for patients with RMC. They have support people that they can call on, as well as we have the only RMC support group in the world. So we welcome you. We know it's late being in the UK. I'm hoping that Leon's physician will contact Dr. Masal because they will consult with the physician, so that he can get the appropriate treatment that's needed. So we welcome
Yes. When you sent me that text yesterday, I was actually on the train to Manchester, and it was like 5 minutes before I saw him, and obviously I was a bit frustrated, but um, I have told him that we do need to chase things up now, and today we have actually contacted her secretary, Dr. Pillais. So hopefully this week we can have an appointment and get things down and, you know, get things done basically.
right,
Get
exactly.
answers.
Really don't
Yeah.
have time to waste.
No, you can't waste time.
Mhm.
Definitely not.
And when was Leon diagnosed?
You mean which hospital?
Well, how long ago was it when he was diagnosed?
With the RMC?
Yes.
Just in August now. About in
Oh.
the middle of August. Well, I was telling him to go to the hospital, to the doctors, because his breath was quite bad.
Hmm.
Breathing, basically. And they gave him some like steroids inhaler, but he didn't feel any better. And well, I work in a hospital as well,
Hmm.
not here in Manchester. I work in Blackpool, and I said, if you're not feeling well, you should go. And the next day, he felt awful apparently, and he went. And then it was that week that basically they found a mass that it was close to his lungs, they said. But it wasn't very clear because, I was at work, he was here, and it wasn't very clear, but it was just then at the start, yeah, in the middle of August, I'd say. And then he started like within a week since he got diagnosed with the RMC. Within a week, he
Hmm.
started platinum chemo, which I think it was quite good that it was very fast, obviously.
Right, right.
Yeah, but I don't think that platinum chemo is just the answer. I think it needs a bit more than that.
Andre, could you share with her the first two? Didn't you have what, the cysto and the paxil?
So I had several different chemo regimens. The first chemo regimen that I was on was it was doxorubicin and gemcitabine.
Mhm.
Um, and with doxorubicin, you can only have so many of those treatments because it affects your heart. Um, it affects your heart, so they only give you a certain amount, uh, a certain number of doses of doxorubicin. Um, my next chemo treatment was cisplatin. So I was on cisplatin for a little while, and then the last chemo I was on was carboplatin and paclitaxel. So I
Mhm.
did I did those specific chemos in conjunction with radiation. Um, and it's a type of targeted radiation. So the chemo, I guess it shrunk the tumors down enough where they can go in there and kind of like target. Like uh, I had like some real resistant, I guess, cancer like in my lymph nodes near my near my right kidney where the mass was that I got removed. So they so for 28 days, pretty much 5 days a week for 28 days, I did radiation. Also, every 3 weeks I was doing the chemo regimen as well. Um, and that was the
Mm.
last and that was the last regimen that I was on before I got my first clear scan.
How come every 3 week? Did you say every 3 weeks that you were
Yeah,
having chemo?
every 3 weeks.
Why was that? Was that a medical plan, or was it like your bloods were not? Because I know that you have to have blood check just before, and
Yeah, so it's every 3 weeks because the chemo it does affect your white blood cells and your red blood cell count and stuff like that. So
mm,
before every chemo regimen, you got like the day before you'll do like blood work and they'll check and see if your your blood counts is on a I guess a high enough level or susceptible level to have chemo the next day or whatever.
hmm
So that's why they kind of spread it out in like 3 week increments. Like sometimes, I would go in like on my third week and my blood cell count would be too low. Um, so I mean, I know I got two blood transfusions before,
yeah.
uh, and sometimes I had to push my chemotherapy back maybe a week or so until those blood cell counts got raised back to a susceptible level. So that's something they should be watching before you have your chemo.
hmm
And at the end of every chemo session, they gave me a booster shot, like a white blood cell booster shot to kind of help those white blood cell counts kind of bounce back.
And did you also have Dr. Pavlos?
I did.
Yeah.
So I was diagnosed. So I was actually in the military. So I was diagnosed uh, in Washington D.C. So I got my first oncologist there. Um, they really didn't know anything about RMC.
Mm.
The main thing they did was they removed my kidney and they were gonna send me to some cancer center in Maryland somewhere. Um, but yeah, I read a story about a guy that went to MD Anderson that his RMC went into remission. So I was like, I got to get down. I got to get down to Houston where Dr. Messiah was. Um, very passionate about RMC. He's very passionate.
Mm. He's
Very
experts on that, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's very dedicated to the work. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely would encourage whoever his position is to reach out to Dr. Masal so he can kind of you know guide his treatment plan. But yeah, he's very very passionate about what he does and uh, real dedicated and real um, definitely would take the time out to speak to whoever. So
Thank you.
um, do you have any other questions about RMC or about treatments or uh,
Um, well, at the moment, Leon has finished his treatment, his platinum. He did every week
okay.
a chemo, a bit different each time. He did 1 week of a gap he had, and then not just because it was all right, it's just I think a bit of a break, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
And then he just finished. What day are we? Yeah, he finished Thursday that just passed. He finished his 6 cycles. So I don't really know what's going to happen from now on. I know usually like when you finish your chemos, you have to wait 2, 3 months to see, and then you have a scan to
Uh-huh.
see what they're responding is if I don't know. So
So did he have so
wha-
he have chemo every week?
yeah,
Okay.
once a week, and with a 1 week gap, and then another 3.
Okay. Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
way it was when Chris started, but they didn't know, they were just doing stuff. They
So
didn't
what,
have anything.
Miss Richard, let me ask you this. So I mean, is it the dosage where I mean, is it a stronger dose if you go every 3 weeks? I mean, I'm not, because every week seems kind of, it's kind of
Every
quick.
week is what they were initially doing, and I think the dosage does have something to do with it. I can't see that they would give you just a really stronger dose that would hold 3 months. That would just be too much for your body. I think during
Mm.
the time that Chris was getting chemotherapy, they were experimenting basically because they really didn't know what to do. Now they did use some of the same type medications, all the medications are the same, but I think the combination of medication and the dosages is what make a difference, and then some of your bodies tend to act one way toward it and others become resistant to certain chemo drugs.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened. In fact, in Chris's situation, he became toxic and he could not tolerate the chemotherapy. And at that time, they didn't have anything else. They did do the doxorubicin, which is called the Red Devil, and I think he had one dose of that, and it was just so harsh on his body.
I couldn't tolerate it.
He couldn't tolerate it at all. It was just rough.
The thing is that I thought like since I've heard that oh my god he's gonna have chemo, when you hear people like being throwing up or being very weak and everything. Obviously he is weak, like he's got his good days and he's a bit weaker days. I don't want to say bad, but he tries, bless him. He really tries. But I thought he was gonna be worse. I was expecting the worst, to be honest, after the chemo. But it seems like if he did it like every Thursday, we knew that for 2, 3 days he would be exhausted and, he has to take his time with things or, just rest. That's what I'm telling him constantly to rest. And then by Wednesday, he was all right. And then he started again. It just seemed like it was going low and up and low and up. But I thought it was going to be worse. And he has pulled it through quite all right, the chemo. Like he's been very positive and going for it.
That's that's good. I know during my chemo, like I tolerated it pretty well. I tolerated the chemo pretty well myself. Like right after, I would be like a little fatigued, but I mean, I didn't really lose appetite, and I mean, I didn't really like, lose any weight or anything like that. So I think I handled it um, pretty well. I think one of the main things is making sure that, you know, definitely they checking like, his blood count and stuff like that to make sure that, that is at a, susceptible level, before he does the chemo. Um, does he still have they did a nephrectomy yet? Remove his kidney yet, or
No, they haven't. And that's the thing, the why they haven't, I don't understand. I thought at first that because it's RMC and it's not just like the other renal cancer. I thought maybe it's worse and if they removed it, it would spread. But I hear all these people that they've had it and that they had a nephrectomy, so
um,
I just don't know. Like that's why I need Dr. Pavlos to interfere to this and just have a look at a PET scan, and it's just an opinion, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah, well, normally what they're doing now, what they recommend is that they go through treatment to shrink the tumors first before removing the kidney.
mhm.
I've seen both. Chris had his out prior to, so did Andre. Andre has done well. But that is the regimen that they're using now, is to shrink the tumor before you remove the kidney.
All right, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Mm.
Andre, I have Curtis Treat here today, and the reason I invited Curtis is because he is a board member, and I just
Hmm.
wanted them to get a feel for the RMC community. And then, of course, I can allow him to introduce himself and how he became acquainted with me and the foundation, if that's okay.
Okay.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Miss Richard?
I can hear you. I can't hear Curtis, though.
Curtis? Okay.
His microphone is on, but can't hear you. Hmm. I don't know what's going on. He had a problem getting in. Did you use, I guess he used the link to get in, but he's having problems with the volume. You have any support, Rick, you can offer to get the volume on his?
Oh, I had a feeling Curtis was looking for this meeting, and I apologize that we didn't welcome you more quickly in the other meeting, Curtis. I had a word with the moderator about that. You can't, the problem you're having is you can't hear us? Is that it, or?
He can't, we can't hear him.
Oh, okay. So yes, let's make sure that you want to go to that little settings, the cogwheel in the top right hand corner. Click on that and then make sure that your microphone is set to the right microphone that you're using. So if you click on that settings, and then make sure that the microphone is the one that you've chosen, that you're using. The other thing is, you can definitely call in just using your phone, and so we can see you on the camera, and you can just call in, and I'll put that information for you in the chat window right now, and we'll tell you how to use the chat window, so that way we can hear you and see you. So I'm putting it in the chat window right now, and the chat window is the little bubble, Curtis, next to that settings cog. If you click on that, it'll open it up, and there'll be a telephone number and an access code. You can use that, and you'll come into the meeting on the telephone, and you can stay in the meeting on your computer. You just need to make sure that you're muted on your computer, otherwise we'll get feedback. How did I do, Miss Ritchie?
You did very well, sir.
Thank you.
We found out most of our group, they're not feeling well. Amaka is not feeling well. I hadn't heard from Anna. I don't think she's feeling well. We got a lot of them that's just sort of not feeling well tonight.
That's not good. Did Diana share with you that the Blackpool happens to have a replica of the Eiffel Tower?
No.
Well,
Oh,
yes, we do.
I can't steal your thunder, Diana. Go on.
Yes, we have Blackpool Tower basically. That oh,
So
I
That's
can hear
been
my
really
voice. Why?
it's-
All right. So yeah, it's Blackpool Tower. It's next to the beach, and it looks like Eiffel Tower. It brightens up instead. Yeah, it's a bit tacky, I'd say, but it's all right. It's a landmark. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
it's yeah. Basically, I think Blackpool in the UK is very famous for all the stag do's and hen do's. That's what it is for, and alcohol. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's a party zone a bit. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well,
for us old timers, Stanley Matthews.
Well, funny fact. Well, because Leon is actually from Manchester, but he's not a Manchester fan. He's a Chelsea fan. But
Yeah.
my uncle played with Stanley Matthews in
Oh my
Blackpool
gosh.
FC. Yeah,
Oh
it was
my
his name was
gosh.
Ewan Fenton. I know.
What was his name? Ewan Fenton?
Fenton. Yeah, he was Scottish. Um, and then they lived after in Ireland. Yeah. And he was also a driving instructor because back in the day they wouldn't get paid so
That
much as they
much.
do now.
So we'll share with you what we're talking about because it's all a foreign language to you people, but we'll explain to you. So one of the greatest soccer players ever in the UK was his name was Stanley Matthews.
mm,
Well, his eventual name was Sir Stanley Matthews. He became a sir. And he would be kind of like oh, Dixie Dean or not Dixie Dean. The I'm trying to think of the old time baseball players. Um,
Well, if anybody knows David Beckham, that's David Beckham back then instead of, yeah,
yeah,
but less
it'd be
commercial, I'd say.
right, but a great. I mean, just an unbelievable equivalent of Pele, somebody like that. And and most of his career he played for Blackpool Town FC, who are the only team I think in the whole of England to play in Tangerine. So
They're
that's
called
that. That's
tangerines because of the orange. Yeah, it's the tangerines, that's what they're called basically because I think it's orange colour. I don't know why, but I don't know the
yeah,
story behind it, yeah.
yeah.
But
There you go.
but they're
So
not doing any more well. They're not in the league or anything. So, yeah.
so there you go. So now you know everything you need to know about Blackpool. And Diana lives there. There you go. There's something else.
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Curtis.
Okay, so I'm on the phone. My name is Curtis Street, and well, first of all, I want to apologize. I was trying to get on early. One of my neighbors' wife passed away a couple of weeks ago, and he's about 90 years old. His son took him to San Antonio. He decided he was going to drive back from San Antonio to Houston. And so they were trying to find him, and he was my neighbor across the street, so I just went over to try and help them try and figure out what we needed to do and how we need to find where he is, because nobody knows where he is right now. But anyway, so I do apologize, but again, my name is Curtis Street. I'm a new board member. I've known Richie for many years, probably about 20 years, so it was long before Chris became ill. And so I've been doing some work with the foundation. Actually, I shouldn't make it sound like I've been doing a lot of work, but whenever we do the walk, I try and raise money for the foundation. So again, I'm very new, and look forward to working with Richie and the rest of the board. And you know, I think I've heard Andre speak before, I think. So I just hope that all of you who are dealing with this disease, I wish you a full recovery and a speedy one. I will tell you that my freshman year in college, I was diagnosed with a sickle cell trait. Um, and that's the extent of what I had to deal with. But I was afraid when I found out because I didn't know much about this disease myself. I had a cousin who passed away from sickle cell anemia, and she was in her mid-30s. So I have some history in my family with respect to this particular disease. Again, way before they determined what this was all about, and before people started spending a lot more time trying to figure out what to do about this particular disease. So that's all I have to say. And uh, again, I wish all of you, if you recover it, I hope it stays that way. But I do look forward to working with you and being around you in the future.
Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I
Thank
think,
you.
Andre, I don't want to take over your thunder, but I think Clarissa need to tell us about the celebration of life of Carlos last weekend before last.
I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, it was really fun. Richie spoke and she she just really moved everybody in the room. Like the room was feel like full of tears. Um and we had like we put out like Carlos's medals out. We like wrote like different things like about him being a teacher, like what like aren't like what the Chris C.J. Johnson Foundation has done, and like his judo accomplishments. So we had like friends, we had friends and family, and then we had a good amount of people speak like about Carlos. So yeah, it was really good, and we had like it was plenty of food, and we had dancing and like Dominican cake. We had a really good time.
Uh, that's good. And Carlos's legacy is living on. He was one of the first. One of the first people, him and Carissa, that I met when I started my RMC journey and moved down to Houston or whatever. And he had been battling the disease for, I think by that time, maybe a couple years by then. But yeah, real open, real easy person to talk to. We would go on our morning walks. He would get me up out the bed, and we all stayed at Dan's House of Hope in Houston. And he would get me out. We would go on our walks, and we would just he would share his stuff throughout his journey. Talk about his his teaching and stuff like that. And I would share with him about my military stuff. And uh, he was one of the reasons why I did go to the port, because by that time the chemo was eating up at my veins. So he really shared knowledge on the port, and just about how it worked. And really gave me a good ease my mind about getting a port inserted in my chest. So um, his legacy definitely will live on. And we're gonna keep spreading awareness and keep pushing forward, until we find a cure for this thing here. So appreciate you also, Curtis. All your work you're doing with the foundation, and helping us spread awareness. Because we need everybody we can get to spread awareness to beat this thing. So we won't have anybody else affected by it.
Thank you, Andre.
You're welcome. Um,
May I share my trip?
yeah, Miss Richie, go ahead and share your trip.
Well, I guess two weeks ago I went to Redondo Beach, I was invited to come down by Aubrey Williams, who lost his son Rice Williams a day before his son graduated from high school. And each year they have a Rice Williams basketball classic. And this time he asked me to come down and speak. And so I did that. Then I also had an opportunity to visit with Anna 2 days. We went to lunch, we went to dinner. I had an opportunity to meet her family and her two boys. And I got a chance to ride in a Tesla, you guys. I was just amazed. And I'm still amazed with that. Um, Her husband Mario described his Tesla as a expensive golf cart. And I have to agree with them because you put your foot on the what we call accelerator, and it's the pedal, and then when you raise your foot up, the car stops, and then there's nothing under the hood. So, but anyway, I got my thrill ride, and it was fun. I don't want a Tesla, but it was. So I got
And
back to Houston that Tuesday, but it was a nice visit with Anna, and I introduced her to Aubrey Williams, who also has the Rice Williams Charitable Foundation in honor of his son, a memory of his son. So we're trying to see how we can come together to be more cohesive, have a lot of voice. Um, and then I got home Tuesday and I flew back out Friday to be with Clarissa. And it was just so much love in Jersey. I got an opportunity to meet Milton, and he did come to the celebration of life as well. Um, but it was just beautiful. Her parents were just so sweet and appreciative of her having someone here in Texas to be with her. I had a great time. The only downfall was I didn't get an opportunity to really visit New York because it was raining. We tried to do it, but the weather was just too bad. But I'll be going back. I enjoy that love in Jersey. But anyway, that's what I've done. And then I spoke that following Tuesday at the Houston Club here in Houston to the National Association for Healthcare Executives. So it's been a busy 2 weeks, but it's been good. And now I am getting ready for my gala, which is next month on November the 19th. We'll be celebrating 10 years for the foundation and 50 heavenly years for Chris. So Andre says that he's coming. We'll see who else is coming. So that's
I'll be
all I
there.
got. That's
I'll
it
be
for
there.
me. You'll be there?
I'll be there.
Um, Richie, I think somebody just came in, Abina.
Oh, Abina. Okay. Abina is from Australia.
Oh my
Abina,
gosh.
can you
So
hear?
you need to switch your microphone on. Um, turn your microphone on, which should be at the bottom. I can't believe this. We're going all the way from the UK to Australia today. Oh my gosh, spanning the globe.
We are global now. We
Hmm.
are definitely global.
Oh my gosh.
There she is. Hi, Abina.
Hi. I'm so sad today. I just saw the message. I'm late. Oh my God.
It's okay.
Okay.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Wow. Wow.
I'm good and I can't see everybody. I don't know. I'm using my phone.
So one thing I did want to say, oh, I think I know who Abina is. Abina, you're in Perth, and
Yes,
we
please.
is this the lady that we connected to to the cancer center on the in Melbourne? To
Yes, please.
wow, okay. I look forward to hearing about this in a moment, but I just wanted to say to Diana, and I don't know if you know, but I believe we're starting a Saturday morning session, are we not, Richie? Pretty soon, which will be
Yes,
much more convenient for Diana and Leon and Nicole, etc., etc. Do you just do you want to? Should we let Diana know about that?
right. Um, we're waiting on Alexa to set it up, but we do. I think we decided on the Saturday. We were trying to do it the Saturday this month, but I think the Saturday that we chose, I was going to be out of town, so we will be doing it more than likely in November. And I think under was it the second or the third Saturday we said we would do. I
Yeah.
can't remember offhand,
I
but
think it was the second Saturday.
yeah, Alexa will set it up, and I'll remind her.
Well, that would be very good for us as well. So also Leon can join because for him it is quite late now at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
would
he sleeps like 9, 10 o'clock now, so that's it. Yeah.
Right.
I would say, well, we span the globe on a regular basis, right, Miss Ritchie? And we have people that come from Greece, and we have people that come from Colombia, and goodness knows where. So, we
Uh,
decided that we
Brazil,
need. I'm sorry.
Brazil as well.
And Brazil. So we decided we needed a meeting, especially for the European folks, at a time that was more convenient. So it meant it had to be at the weekend, and so we are working on doing that. So watch this space. And I would say, to Diana, to Abina, to Curtis, if we don't have your email address, please give it to us, send it to us so that we can send you reminders before each meeting, because we send out a reminder before each meeting. So if you're not getting that reminder, then please, you can put it in the chat window, you can give it to Alexa, or to Richie, and we'll get you in the database. And so you'll get a note ahead of time.
Okay.
Well, Bina, maybe she can give us an update, huh?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, sure. Um, so I've been fine, not too fine, but I went for my scans, and it looks like the paclitaxel stopped working. So I had a few growth in the chest area. So we contacted Dr. Misal, and then he prescribed another regimen. So I'm going to start on that regimen tomorrow. The doxorubicin and then the other one, the gemcitabine. Yeah. Other than that, I'm just trying to stay positive. It's been hard quite a few days, but Anna has been my source of strength. Whenever there is a hitch, I just run to her. I email her, and then yeah, things have been really hard this week, but I'm getting there. Yeah.
Um, Bina, this is Andre. I've I got my clear scans back in October, but before that, I went through several different chemo regimens, from doxorubicin and gemcitabine to cisplatin to carboplatin and paclitaxel. So, um, when the cancer become resistant, um, Dr. Masai, he's gonna move to a different regimen. But the main thing is, just to stay positive um, and keep pushing forward, because this disease is something that can be beat. You know what I'm saying? No, I
Yeah.
remember. I remember walking in Dr. Masai's office, and he's reading my scans, and he's telling me that the cancer has become resistant. So we're gonna try a new regimen or whatever. But I kind of just stuck with it. I stuck with it. Throughout all the different regimens, even immunotherapy and radiation, until I got my clear scan. So just stay positive, and keep leaning on the advice of Dr. Masal, and I'm uh, definitely gonna be praying for you know for you to beat this disease.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Abina. Have you been able to have you been in touch with Robert Mack, and have they been helpful?
Um, Not yet, because my oncologist right now is in contact with Dr. Misal.
Okay.
Yeah, and the doctors you recommended, they are in a different state, and currently, even if I should contact them, it's just my husband and the children. I cannot move interstate at the moment, but my mother is coming to Western Australia. On Sunday. She will be here on Sunday. So after that, I will see how I go, because sometimes, like this particular scan results, when I went to the oncologist, they really gave me a very gloomy picture. I was so sad. I came home, I was just crying all the whole time, and I had to write to Anna. I even had to send her the scan results. And then she interpreted it and said, no, 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 no. The kind of knowledge you have, those doctors, they don't have it. So why do you have to
Right.
believe what they say? So just keep positive. So right now, I'm just waiting for my mom to come. When she gets here, if I have to get a referral to Melbourne, I'll do that. I'll do that, because even this
Well,
one, yeah,
I mean, the facility in Melbourne is world class. And
yeah,
so, if there is any knowledge, it's going to be at McCallum. Um,
yeah,
and and I think that also, I mean, and Dr. Masoul is aware of that too. But that's really where the best oncologists in the country are in Australia, at Peter
yes,
Mac.
yes.
So
Okay,
don't hesitate. And if you have any issues in getting to Peter Mac, um,
yeah,
we can probably help you a little bit. Let Richie know, and she'll be in
okay,
touch with me. We know one or two of the prostate cancer docs at Peter Mac. And
yes,
so they're going to be in touch with the with the renal oncologist there too. So we have a little bit of grease to get you to the right to into Peter Mac if you're having any issues. But
yes.
they're going to be a good resource. In the long run, they could be a good resource for you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, because even when I sat in front of my oncologist, and then the regimen Dr. Pavlos recommended, he told me that they have never combined such two medications for a patient in Australia. They've never done that. And I
I'm
said, yeah,
sure.
because my cancer is rare, so I don't expect you to do that.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
and this is the thing, the knowledge just isn't there. They don't know how to treat. They don't know how to listen. They don't know how to treat your disease in the
yes,
United States unless they go to MD Anderson. So,
okay,
Richie will tell you that. I mean, most of the doctors in the United States are at a loss how to treat RMC. And
yeah,
Diana's going to tell you the same thing about the UK. I mean, People are really in other countries are all feeding back into MD Anderson, but at the same time, if there are good hospitals in your country or in the UK, that's the best place for you to possibly be. So,
Yeah. Yes. Hmm. Yeah.
Richie, you want to jump in on
Thank you
this?
very much.
I mean, I agree with everything Rick is saying. The main thing is this is a real interesting and difficult cancer to treat, but the main thing is that you stay positive. Do not lose faith nor hope. We're here for you. You can call us. We'll walk you through it. Uh, each there's a valley and two peaks. So find something positive when you're in that valley because you are going to climb up one side or the other. So it's just important that stay on the bright side of it.
Yeah.
Andre is living proof that you can fight this
Thank you.
thing.
Thank you, Richie.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing better than looking at Captain Sneed there. That is the best. We
Yes,
love,
Yeah.
we love it.
So Captain Sneed dancing and cutting the rug. I saw another that when he rung that bell, tore the bell up at MD Anderson, you guys.
hmm,
But I guess
I
that's
did.
okay.
I did, but they was able to put it back together. So it's still hanging. It's still hanging up there. It's still hanging on the wall, but yeah, I try my best. But yeah, just trying to stay encouraged, and I know scan time is you're looking forward to good results. But along the way, I call all those scan results I got in between my clear scan, call those just minor speed bumps or whatever. So just getting over those humps, and trying a different treatment. I was always just looking forward to getting the next treatment out of the way. So I can reach my the final destination where I was trying to get to, which was a clear scan. So um, yeah, just stay encouraged. I know when you hear bad news from the scans, it's rough, but Dr. Masal is real passionate about going on to the next treatment, and making sure you're trying to find something that works. You know what I'm saying, that works for your specific body or whatever. So um, yeah, just stay encouraged, and you'll get there.
Diana sends her love. They're in Spain. And Anna sends her love. They're in Seattle. They had a break, so we took the boys to Seattle. But she's doing fine. She's tolerating the chemo, the new chemo. Okay. But I think she will be coming to Houston pretty soon.
oh, I know, of course, yeah.
Okay.
And
Did
So,
you did you did you hear anything from Brian and Anessa?
I didn't hear anything from Brian and Anessa,
Okay.
but Maka is not feeling well. But she sends her love. So that's it for.
I just wanted to ask Diana a question. Where's Leon's main treatment center?
Hospital,
Yeah.
you mean? Manchester Christie's.
Oh, at Christie's. Okay. And
Mm.
that's the hospital where Nicole that's Nicole's very
Nicola,
familiar
yeah.
with.
Yeah,
Nicola
I think,
rather. Yeah.
yeah, I think so, yeah.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right, right,
I
right.
think that's where Nicola reached out to Leon, obviously. So that's when everything started with the RMC. Yeah.
All right. Right, 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 right. I think that's where Ricky was treated, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
So,
because he was from Manchester as well.
Mhm.
yes.
I think he was in
Yeah.
Altrincham. Yeah. It was a
Yeah.
fire. Yeah. It's not far away from me, basically. Yeah.
Right. I mean, Nicola lives up in the, she lives out on the east side of Manchester, up in the hills there. I can't remember exactly where, but
I've
somewhere
never
over
met
in there.
her. I've never met Nicola, so I don't really know, to be honest. I just know that Ricky was, I think, a firefighter in for Altrincham, basically, wasn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't. Well, I didn't know if it was that it was for Altrincham, but it would make sense.
Yeah. The
But
Manchester, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, it would definitely make sense. As a child, I lived in Cheadle for about 18 months when I was about 7 years old or 8 years old, I think. So I know Manchester, and then I was at the university in Manchester as well. So I lived there for 3 years during that period. So I know Manchester a little bit, not a lot. I know it a little bit.
It changes every year.
I'm
It has changed a
sure.
lot through the years, yeah.
I'm sure.
It's
All
nice.
right. Well, Miss Ritchie, do you want to call it a day in here?
I think we're ready to call it a day, and we're going to have our Captain Sneed close us out. We look forward to November. Is the next one?
Yeah.
Wow. Uh,
Well, unless you get one of your Saturday ones in between, otherwise it'll be November.
right, exactly. And
May,
I'll get
but
Alexa.
make sure that we have your email, because if we do come up with a Saturday one, that's how you'll hear about it. Well, from Richie and from us, you'll hear about, and you can also register directly on our website. If you go to our website, you can put in the information on the website too.
Right. The November 8th is our next meeting. That's also Anna Maldonado's birthday. So, yeah, and then if we get that Saturday meeting, we will certainly send it to you guys so that we can get you on and have a decent hour, especially for you, Diana. We really appreciate you coming on. I know you're tired. Appreciate our board member Curtis Treat joining us,
Oh, okay.
and we're so happy to see Abina. And Abina, please stay positive. Keep that beautiful smile. We got you. You're not alone. Okay, close us out, Captain.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining the RMC support group for this month. Looking forward to seeing you all you guys next month. Stay encouraged, stay positive. Looking forward to good scans next time. So thank you all for joining. Have a great night, and for Bina, have a what is it, morning over there, afternoon. have a good have a good morning over there. All
Look
right,
like
see you
it
guys next month.
is. And it's night. It's about 2 a.m. for Diana, right?
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
half
God.
two. I know.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know.
Uh,
Uh,
All
you
right,
look
see
very